On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, we're going to break down the tight ends as we enter training camp and preseason of this 2021 season for the Carolina Panthers. Don't have many on the team right now, 6. Probably only going to keep 3. Before we get into today's episode, please folks, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Hit the bell notification so you can be notified of more content like what's in today's video, future videos of the Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, Charlotte Hornets, and major college sports in the Carolinas. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think of the video. Give me some ideas of what you'd like to see in future episodes. And pound the like button. Okay, folks. Already did one earlier as we're entering, kind of looked early at our early roster prediction, 53-man roster for the offense. And then I did our early roster look for the 53-man roster for the defense. And, just recently, knowing that we're getting ready to hit July here, by the time you see this video, it probably will be the 1st of July. And as we know, as we enter to the end of July, players start reporting in training camp. Another year in Spartanburg. And I've kind of already looked at the wide receivers where we started with 13, kind of going where we're going to stay around, 6 guys maybe 5, maybe 7, but around that 6 range. Well, tight end, we've got 6 guys on the roster right now. And probably going to keep 3. Possibility who's going to be on the practice squad. So we're going to get into that today. Now, I want to kind of go back and forth of this. The first thing I'm going to look at is guy number 6. I do not think this guy's going to make the roster. I don't think he'll probably even make the practice squad, although it's a possibility. I just don't see it happening. And that's Giovanni Ricci, number 87. Now, I think he had a couple calls with the Panthers last year, was on the practice squad. I don't believe he got in any games, but he might have with injuries. But he's a product from Western Michigan. Now, if I'm Giovanni, what I'm doing right now is I'm getting to be good buddies with Taylor Moton since he went to Western Michigan. And since the Panthers value him so highly and we need to re-sign Moton, maybe Giovanni Ricci can come around and say, hey, it's a 2-for-1 package. But honestly, I think this guy's probably going to be camp fodder unless we have a couple of injuries. Hey, we lose our top guy or two, or top 2 out of 3 guys because of an injury, and then you take a guy who's right above Ricci and you just say the guy's not panning out, and Giovanni here has a hell of a camp, he could actually find his way on the roster, or at least a practice squad. But right now, I've got number 87 not making the roster. He's camp fodder. Number 5, you got to keep a look on because he could move up probably, I'm thinking, even number 4. And people who might be more in the know than I do might already see him at number 3 or 4. He could be competing with guy number 3 to get a 53-man roster spot, or he could be the one guy that might make the practice squad. I got him at number 5 right now. Now, that's just my opinion because I don't know much about it. But being that we've got this guy, he's an LSU product that Scott Fitterer brought in from Seattle. This is a guy we really need to look at because honestly, he could make some noise. But at number 5 right now, I see him being cut late in training camp. Possibility of bringing him on practice squad. I don't know what his eligibility is. I just don't think he's going to make it with what we have. But if someone was to tell me he was going to be tight end number 3, I would not be surprised. It definitely could happen. Okay. All right. Number 4 on the list. Number 4 on the list actually scored a touchdown for the Panthers last year. Was on the practice squad for a while. Actually was elevated to the 53-man roster, got in the game, and he scored a touchdown, caught a touchdown pass for the Panthers. And that's none other than Colin Thompson, number 86. I've got him at number 4 right now. The tight end from, you guessed it, Temple. So he's got a connection with this staff. So we can look at Colin Thompson. Do I think he's going to make the roster? Right now, I'd hedge my bets if I had to put bets on and say he won't not make the roster. But I do see him making the practice squad. And if somebody at number 3 slips and falls or doesn't do well or looks disappointing, and Thompson shines or gets better than he was last year, he could be the man I see that moves up to the 3 spot. Right now, I got him not making the 53-man roster, but I do have him on the practice squad. Now, number three on the list has had many opportunities with the Panthers. And we drafted this guy, I believe, the first pick of the 4th round a few years back. It was I want to say it was a Marty Herney pick. It could have been Gettleman, but I think it was definitely Herney. Number 80 from the University of Indiana, Ian Thomas. Now, Ian Thomas has the athletic ability. I sometimes just feel like he's not working hard enough, or he's just not being able to hit that second level that he needs to be an accomplished tight end. Because if you look at last year's squad, folks, tight end was a glaring need. We lost Greg Olson, and the guys we had, Manhurts, he's gone, moved on from him. And, we didn't have the fullback anymore, so he's gone. And that's going to make a big deal of difference, because sometimes his tight ends needed to block. And Ian Thomas is someone that did play and was started and just never really showed out, and as good as he should. But Rule and company said that he really looked good in the OTAs. He's improved. They could be pushing him. I will not be shocked to see if he gets cut. For him, it's not going to be the practice squad. He's either going to make this roster as the number 3 receiver, maybe even climb to 2, or he's going to get cut and somebody else will pick him up and try him out, hoping they can revive his career. And that's Ian Thomas at number 3. But I got him making the roster. Number 2 on the list right now I got is the rookie we drafted in the 3rd round out of Notre Dame, Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble is going to be a player the Panther fans fall in love with even more, I believe, than Brad Hoover. He's a blocking tight end. He is someone that I feel his game's only going to get better. His pass catching ability wasn't showcased at Notre Dame, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability. He just wasn't used as such. Now, if he gets better with his hands and he can grasp a hold of this offense, and he becomes more of a pass catching tight end, man, the ground is really open for this guy to be a superior athlete and a versatile weapon for the Panthers. Because when Manhurt's gone as a blocking tight end, and Alex Arnold gone as a fullback, now he's moving on to New Orleans. Tremble's a guy that can line up at fullback, he can carry the ball, can be a blocking tight end, can knock somebody on their ass, can play special teams. And if he learns to catch the ball and becomes a pass-catching tight end, he's really going to become a valuable source where he's going to move up to the number 1 guy. But this is definitely for real, with no doubt about it. Tommy Tremble being a number 2 tight end, he will be on this 53-man roster. And the only thing that will keep him off this roster is him getting injured and being put on injured reserve. He will make the roster. And then the number 1 tight end going into training camp, I think is going to get the job, is the top free agent tight end we took from the Arizona Cardinals, from Wisconsin Platteville. It's none other than Dan Arnold, number 85. He is a pass-catching tight end, and I definitely see this guy a lot of people say, I've never heard of him. I definitely think he is underrated. I think he really showed out for Arizona. He caught some nice balls last year. He's a red zone target. I think Sam Darnold is going to love Dan Arnold. Say that 3 times without getting your tongue twisted. Sam Darnold to Dan Arnold. But Dan Arnold's going to be our number 1 tight end. Now, will he be that forever? No. I think he'll be a holdover. Now, you never know. He could be a guy that plays well for a couple of years and we're getting an extension. Maybe he blossoms even more here. But I see somebody who's going to do a really good job for us, and eventually Tremble will take his spot in a couple of years. And that doesn't mean that Dan Arnold doesn't stay on. He's just maybe the backup. We're going to have to go from there and see what happens. So, what do you think of today's video, folks? Do you agree with my assessment on these 6 tight ends? Would you change any of them? Let me know in some comments. Hit the bell notification. Be notified of other videos like these dealing with the Panthers, Hurricanes, Hornets, or college sports in the Carolinas. Pound that like button, and by all means, folks, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. I will see you on another episode of the Carolina Sports Guy.